Latrice, aka Sad Renee. Hey, how are you?
Hi. First, I want to thank you for having me on your beautiful show. I really appreciate it for you giving me a platform to talk about myself as an artist, as an author, and just as a person. I'm really honored to be here today.
Not a problem at all. I feel like if anyone needs to hear, have their message out, it's definitely you. I'm honored to share her story with you guys. So, Latrice, go ahead and give an introduction about yourself and let everybody know who you are and what exactly you do.
Okay. I am Sad Renee. I am a poet. I am a published author. I am an artist. I am a writer. I am a creative. Anything that I do out of emotions. My emotions has always kind of clouded me for so long. And when I decided to write my book, I'm Happy, which is a book of poems about my mental health. It was just me kind of working through all of my trauma and just everything that I have went through in the past and dealing with my mental health. Um, this has been one of the most painful, excruciating, but also beautiful processes that I have ever went through in my adult life. To be put in a position where, like, I'm putting my most vulnerable thoughts out on paper and charging $20 for it and putting it out into the world, and people are buying it and they're seeing just how dysfunctional I can be, just how ugly I can be inside, and just how much of a mess I am. And I expected people to kind of be like, oh girl, like, no. But people have thanked me, and I think that's the most craziest thing, that people are thanking me for writing. And it's like, no, thank you for purchasing my book.
Yes, yes.
I think that's the craziest thing right now.
I definitely agree. It's a wonderful feeling to have your inner thoughts because, as an artist, anything that you put out into for everyone to hear is your inner thoughts, whether it's your imagination, your trauma, your hurt, to have people receive it in the manner that you intended but really wasn't sure is an amazing feeling. So I'm so glad that you are experiencing that. I'm glad that people are actually being able to see your crafts and experience, and it's relatable. I'm just honored that you did that. That's a big deal.
Yes, I did.
And it's a beautiful thing to be transparent because no one can use your truth, whether it be ugly or not, as you told me earlier, against you. So if this is my
Yeah,
truth, I'm giving you guys my truth, and you have to process it and accept me as I am, you can't use that to break me down or make me feel less than because I'm very much so confident with my demons and how I'm living through them.
exactly. So if someone's like, "Oh, that girl is crazy. She said she wants to kill herself." Baby, that's nothing new. It's in my book.
Thank you. Moving on, and
Moving
I'm
on.
paid to be honest. So give
Yeah.
us an understanding of what your creative goal is, or what's your overall mission with the overall brand that you're working towards.
So my brand in itself is to pretty much encourage other people to own their ugliness. Whatever it is that you are doing, just own that. Sad Renee, I didn't really choose that name. I was going by Perfectly Trees. The people chose that name for me because, like, that was my social media, and they were like, "No, you're Sad Renee," and I'm like, "No, I'm Latrice. No, you're Sad Renee." So I was like, "I'm
I,
Sad Renee," and I own it. I get sad. I'm very sad sometimes, or a lot of times, or most of the time, all the time. And it's me reclaiming all of this stuff that I was so ashamed of, and
yeah,
I'm putting it on display. And I just want to spread healing and positivity through that, but not through rose tinted sunglasses. You get what
yeah,
I'm saying? The real me in my life, like, you can look at my Instagram and you will see, like, just how much I change frequently with my moods. One day I'm very upbeat and happy. The next day it's like, silence, where is she? And I just post something just very dark. And it's nothing to be ashamed of, because my one of my most favorite things to say is, it's okay to not be okay. And the sooner that we realize that as a society, the more that we can actually begin to grow and heal. You can
yes.
grow in a dark, unnurtured place. You get what I'm saying? So by me owning that I'm not that person that I wanted the world to see.
Right.
And this is what you see is what you get now. And that's how everyone, and that's all I want for anyone else.
Correct.
Is take these things and use it to propel you onto this road of like growth and healing. That's all I want. I just want everybody to just feel good and just
No, yeah. I definitely agree on that, and I understand it wholeheartedly, which is one of the reasons why I extended this offer to you, because you've always been authentic of who you are. And as you stated, you're very, there's many layers to you. There's where there's many layers to me. And I think that's why our friendship has lasted so long. It's because you're confident about who you see is what you get. I'm not going to water it down, but at the end of the day, you choose to do what's best for you, regardless of who likes it, who disagrees with, who understands it, or what. If it provides a source of happiness or good energy for you, Streets is going to stand there, and it just is what it is. It took me a while to get to that place of understanding of self-love, or figuring out who I was in my many emotions, to where I can confidently be like, okay, this is this happiness that people are experiencing with true self. I got to share this with everyone else. I have to get these women to share their stories with everyone else. So what you said definitely makes sense. I think it's a great mission. I'm definitely looking forward to the more bodies of works that you have and their platform of using your truth to help and heal other women. With that being said, you mentioned that you did really several different drafts of your intimate thoughts being published. Mm-hmm. You have a great support system to go ahead and kind of push you to go ahead and be completely transparent. What was the last straw or that moment to where you were saying, okay, I'm just going to do it?
So with my publisher, during the editing process, she was sending me back a lot of stuff. Like it was hard not to take it personal, because like, how can you, these are my thoughts. If you're going to kind of send my work back to me, it was almost kind of like a moment of rebellion, if you will, where it's like, if you're going to say this, then I'm going to just give it all, and I'm going to just do it all, And she was like, as we started doing the drafts, she started sending less stuff back, and she was like, nope, that's perfect. That's perfect. Or this line is perfect, because my publisher is an author and a poet and a writer herself, So it was, and someone who I hold in high esteem. So to have someone that you hold in high esteem, who you look to as an artist, say your poem is perfect, there's nothing to change about this, I was like, okay.
Yeah, right. Amazing feeling. What sparks your creativity?
My pain, my emotions.
Yeah.
I can honestly say that, like, the first poem in my book is Write Happy. And because everybody's like, oh, all your stuff is dark, it's sad. So I was like, I'm gonna write something happy, And it still didn't come out happy, but it was my attempt.
Right.
To try to write something happy. And at the end of the poem, I asked myself, like, how did I do, you? Like, how did I do? And I think I did the best that I could in that moment that I wrote it, but it still isn't that pretty, happy, poetic
illusion that people
yeah.
love to read. But again, that makes you authentically you. I often quote, you're not living until you make your pain your purpose. It defeats the purpose to go through life. We know life sucks. We know life is hard. We know heartbreak, fear, death. We know that is going to come with life. Are you living if you just go through a whole bunch of pain and you don't utilize it, and you don't use it to make you better? So I love that you have figured out how to make a purpose with your pain. Why is being your own boss something that's very important to you?
And the day that I decided that I was not going to commit suicide, I decided to live life on my terms. And that's not to say I still have the suicidal thoughts damn near every day, but to not act on it.
Yes.
Like, that's a promise that I made to myself. I will not do that. That I will live, And it's like, if I'm going to be here on this earth for the next 30, 40 years, I do not want to live that life stuck at a desk, because that's not what I want to do. I want to
Right.
travel. I want to be free. I want to create art. I want to have passion and just love and all this stuff,
Yeah.
like that's the life that I want. And for me, I'm not going to find it on a 9 to 5. I'm not going to find it on somebody's time clock. Um, and I refuse to sacrifice my art just for the sake of a 9 to 5. Now, I will have a short term goal. Like, I might say, okay, well, I'm going to get a job for 6 months if, to pay off something or,
Right.
something like that. But permanently, I can't do it. I won't do it. I refuse to do it. That is not my life. My art is my life. It's the only thing, one of the only things that's keeping me alive right now. And I can't sacrifice that.
Oh, I love that. I love that. I often tell people, I think in maybe like two of these videos that I published before was I had a friend who mentioned entrepreneurship. And at the time I wasn't ready as a single mom. I have all these reasons, it's not gonna work. And she was like, if that fire gets lit, you're gonna know. And I thank you daily for that conversation. It was something I feel like that I couldn't necessarily for the longest figure out what works for me. But what I did know, clocking in and clocking out on a traditional 9 to 5, was making me put my own happiness, my children's happiness, and that freedom, or my own short term, long term goals myself. It went on the back burner because I just didn't have the time to do it because I was in the seat focusing on making someone else's rich. But as most of you guys can see, that Renee is very open about her mental health and whatever state of emotions that she's currently in that moment. Why do you feel like these conversations aren't common within our community?
I think because one, it's one of those things where it's like it comes off as dramatic or it just comes off as like, I don't know why. Like I just remember vividly, like as a teenager, just like not feeling good, and they're like, "Oh, like, you know,
Get over it. Go lay
yeah,
down.
yeah." Like even, but you know what? It was like that even with physical sickness. Like I remember one time just like vomiting my guts out, and still having to go to school. And my aunt was like, "No, you still have to go. Like you have to go to school." But I'm like, I've been vomiting that entire morning, and I don't know what it is within our community that we do not take, whether if it's mental illness or even physical illness, um, seriously. It just comes off as like maybe dramatic, and maybe it's one of subconsciously. It's like should be able to have these feelings. And if I do need a day off, or if I do have to skip out on an event, or if I don't feel like getting out of bed today, I should be able to do that,
Yeah.
And I feel like once we start treating mental illness with the same urgency that we treat physical or other diseases, like there will be a little bit of progress within our community. But, you know, depression will have you crippled for days. And people will look at that and be like, she is lazy. This girl have not left out of bed all day.
Yes, yes, yes. I agree with you. There's so many different facets and levels to mental illness and how it affects people. And people don't understand that you can be depressed and be a functioning depressed. It's like you can be a functioning alcoholic. I feel like within our community,
It's crazy you say that because that's a title in my book, Functionally Depressed.
see what I'm saying? Like you just get it. And that's why I feel like it's so important for you to have a platform to speak as loudly as you possibly can, to reach as many people as you possibly can, because secretly within our community, most of us are having these emotions. We have no one to speak to. We don't have the insurance coverage or don't even know the right place to go to speak to someone professionally. And then there's this a huge taboo on the state of mental illness. Whether you're pushing pro mental health or whether you're just ignorant to the many types of diagnoses that you could be living with. And I feel like it's why. So, what do you feel like is the fix for this issue within our community?
Um, Having conversations like this and therapy. Therapy was like the best thing that I could have ever. It's the best investment, and people treat it as a luxury. It's not a luxury; it's a necessity. The same way you need to brush your teeth, the same way you need to go and get your annual women exam. Woman exam, like it is a necessity. It's not a luxury. And whenever people start looking at it like that, like we can. It's just it'll all come together. But therapy is one of those things that it's life changing, and it is You have to go in with an open mind and not be so
Yes.
defensive. Because sometimes when you have these questions thrown at you, and you're like, "So what you trying to say?" And all this lady doing is her. She's doing her job. She's doing what you paid her to do. She's doing what she's licensed, what she went to school for 6 to 8 to 10 years for. You
Right.
know. But when you are confronted with your own dysfunction, and you realize that a lot of the times you are the source of your own toxicity.
Yeah. It makes you feel some type of way.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's and you have
What
to let
advice would you give anyone that's currently feel like they're suffering with a mental health issue?
reaching out for help. At the back of my book, I give resources. 1 second. It says save me. I know this is mirrored, so it probably won't come out too well. But it has like 4 or 5 different resources. Um, to where if you're feeling like you're in your final moment and you're done with life, or you're just feeling really bad and you're saying, I don't want to be here no more. And I called one of my sisters, hoping that, like, she'll talk me down. I'm not Christian, so she was giving me a whole bunch of trust in God stuff, and I couldn't hear that. I couldn't. Any other day, I would be like, okay, sister. But in that frame of mind, I couldn't. If anything, it made me feel worse because it's like, dang, like now I can't do another thing right. So I called them. I had their number already saved in my phone. I called the suicide prevention hotline, and that girl, like, it was like maybe a 40-minute drive, and she didn't rush me off the phone. Like, she stayed on the phone with me. And whoever that was, like, thank you for saving my life that day on 610, because I was done. You
Yeah.
know, but that's just use your resources. If you can't trust anybody, whether if it's a family member or a friend, if you're not even willing to get therapy at this point, use your resources. Go online. There's anonymous programs where you can even text. I've used that a few times. You can text someone, and sometimes it's peer to peer, or it is a therapist. But if you just go online and just you'll see. But reach out to somebody, because this is not the end. I know it feels like it, and even for myself, it feels like it's the end, but it's not. If you just can make it past that moment, I'm not even gonna say live for the next day. Just live for that next second.
Yeah.
You'll start to realize important, it's imperative, and it's cherished by someone.
Yeah. So true. So true. What advice would you give anyone that's thinking of self-publishing or just putting out a body of work? And we're not even going to limit it to just books. We're going to limit it to any type of creative outlet that they have that they want to reach out to the public.
Do it, for one. Just do it. Even if you think, oh, it's been done. Because honestly, people have written about mental health well before I have. But nobody can say my pain like me, because it's mine. The same way that nobody can do Deleasa like Deleasa does Deleasa. You get what I'm saying?
Right.
Just do it. Even if it feels unoriginal, it's been done so many times, but it hasn't been done by you.
Correct.
And that alone makes it unique, because us as humans, we're all unique. Secondly, resources. If you can Google, which everybody can, it's the information is there at your fingertips. I did not self-publish. I was lucky enough to be picked up by a phenomenal publisher who is woman, who is Black, who is LGBT. Like, this
Yeah,
girl,
cut that out. Hold on. Can we get the name of your publisher?
Ignited Inc. 717, which 717 is my birthday, July 17th.
You see how the universe works? It's supposed to
happen. So like I said, I was lucky enough to get picked up by my publisher. I don't have to worry about a lot of the stuff that self-publishers have to worry about. But self-publishing is, if that's the route that they do choose to go to, do it. It's a reward in seeing your baby go from like thought to this thing that you can hold in your hand.
right.
Knowing that you were the one who registered your ISBN, you're the one who registered as a copyright, you're the one who got somebody and designed the book cover. You're the one who did all this stuff. Like, there's a satisfaction in that,
Yeah, sure.
And it's just do it. Don't procrastinate. Do it.
Just do it.
Just do
it. 2020 has showed us, COVID has showed us, with the state of the world it currently showed us, time is a luxury. Do it.
Do
it's
it.
Just simple. So go ahead and let us know, where can we find you on social media and keep up with what Sad Renee is doing?
Okay, so I am on all social media platforms. Sad Renee Writes. My website is www.sadrenewrites.com. Honestly, if you just type in Google Sad Renee or Sad Renee Writes,
it'll come up. It's a pleasure speaking with you again, guys. She's giving you every avenue to reach out to her, follow her. If you have not gotten a copy of her book, go ahead and purchase that. Where can they purchase a copy of your book?
My available for purchase on my website, www.sadrenewrites.com. Go to if you're on my Instagram, it says view shop. You can purchase it directly from my shop on Instagram and also Facebook. There's so many avenues, which will just bring you back to my website. www.sadrenewrites.com.
Okay, guys, so go ahead. It's Black History Month. Support Black, buy Black. Go ahead and get out. I'm Happy by Sad Renee Writes. I thank you again for letting me pick your brain. I thank you guys for taking out the time in your day to get some of these amazing jewels that have been dropped here.
Can I say one thing? I usually do this at the end of every interview. It's just to let people know that they are not alone. So let's say you don't want to text someone, you don't want to call someone. My email, sadrenewrites@gmail.com, or even my social media inbox is always open. If you're in the dark moment and you feel like you have nobody, please do not hesitate to reach out to me personally. sadrenewrites@gmail.com, sadrenewrites just on any platform. I will respond and I will be that person for you.
Awesome, guys. Isn't she just amazing? So we're going to go ahead and end this live, but we will go ahead and put every avenue to go ahead and stay connected with her. Again, as she said, you are not alone. I want to thank you guys again. My name is Deleasa. You're watching Deleasa Speaks with Sad Renee, author of I Am Happy. Thank you guys and have a good day.
Thank you.